Now coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumleme in Accra, this is Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. Our headline this hour: staggering revelations on plot to remove IGP Akufo-Dampare as prime witness. Bugri Nabo gives blow-to-blow account of meetings with police bigwigs. More as implicated police officers are expected to make an appearance on Thursday.
He gives lot to NDC presidential man, and even the late vice wife, they all get slaughtered.
Now be mindful of your conduct and utterances. That is the caution from the new Patriotic Party as it drags some aggrieved members of the party before the election committee for allegedly launching attacks on leading members of the governing party. Also, teacher training education in limbo as the fates of thousands of students across the country remain uncertain due to SITAC's prolonged strike. We'll bring you details as SITAC President Prince Obin Hema indicates that nothing will coerce them to the strike. Prime Business will come your way at 8 p.m.
Government records a 5.63% oversubscription of Treasury bill sales, but at surging interest rates. We'll bring you a report later.
And Prime Sports is at 8:15.
The West Ham Supporters Union Group of Ghana say they are expectant of exploit from Ghanaian forward Mohamed Kudus following his move to West Ham United.
Nothing but joy. What I say joy is, this is a player that likes to dazzle the ball around. He's a samba type of football. And then I'm just looking forward to see the partnership between he and Paqueta.
Joy News Prime is live on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. On all social, we are Joy News. Also on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please stay.
Joy News Prime headlines.
The former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Daniel Bugri Nabo, has made staggering revelations about his alleged engagement with some top police officers who wanted IGP Akufo-Dampare ousted. A leaked tape that went viral some weeks ago, the voices allege the IGP was working against the NPP breaking the 2024 election. Daniel Bugri Nabo, a key witness in the investigations on Monday, appeared before the committee investigating the leaked tape and authenticated the tape. Let's listen to the part of the recording.
Why do you kill policemen? You have to verify as you have seen. You see how humble he is. Yes, very, very humble. And I told you, he is a lawyer. That is why every policeman wants to see him as his or her IGP. Master, that's how now I met him, I was surprised. Thank you. You see, this genuine humility, and yet the faithful humility. Yes, he's the one that we want. Now, when you will see the outcome of the elections. Do you understand? And he's a true person. The president is aware because of the way he's being treated.
Bugri Nabo revealed that those captured on the tape were top senior officers in the police service who wanted to use him as a conduit to the president to remove the IGP and replace him with their preferred choice. My colleague Samuel Mbura has more in the following report.
The former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Nabo, claims that he was approached by a senior officer with the rank of a commissioner in the Ghana Police Service, whom he does not have personal relationship with, but referred to him as a commander. He said he was the mastermind behind the plot and introduced another senior officer he said was competent to replace IGP Akufo-Dampare. He believed him because same officer told him the NPP was going to lose the Asin by-election, which played out with Dampare leading the police.
He came with a CV with a commissioner, Mensa, that I should, on the same issue, I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Yes, sir. On the same, going to see president for them to appoint that commissioner. Somebody brought him to the office with him. Then I didn't want to take it serious.
He also alleged that the police officers revealed to him that the former president John Mahama was given some slots by the Ghana Police Service to recruit officers with the promise of maintaining Akufo-Addo if he wins the elections.
And the NDC presidential candidate has also assured him that he will retain him if he should come to power. Secondly, he gives slot to NDC presidential man, and even the late vice wife, they all get slot. They said when they are going to do recruit, they give your mama 300 slot, and the vice president wife, the late vice president wife, they give them 50 slot. That's what they said.
Mr. Nabu further claimed he contacted said officer after the tape was leaked, and he even threatened to deal with him.
I called Mr. Sari. I called him and asked him who sent the tape into public domain, and he banged the phone on me. Then I called him again. Then he refused to talk to me, but rather he sent a word through my son that will deal with me. That threatened me.
But chairman of the committee, Atachia, said he was not shocked by revelations of Bugri Nabu and indicated that the 3 officers implicated will be invited and interrogated.
At this point in time, we hold our horses and to have the full complement of the evidence, and then we see what to do. But what is very significant is that we wanted him to authenticate the audio, which he did, and he said he even named those who were on the audio, and that is sufficient.
So what is next?
What is next is that Thursday, those who have been named on the audio will have to come before the committee for us to also interrogate them and produce evidence.
So what happens to him now, Mr. Bugri Nabu?
He's released for now, unless there are residual matters that he has to come back and answer. But so far, we've released him to go.
Meanwhile, Peter Tobu, who is MP for Wa West, said that the claims that slots for recruitment were given to the former president are ridiculous.
Why? It is laughable because if a former president who is the opposition leader can actually have 300 slots, what it means that there's no recruitment. I'm sure the president will take the rest. And the people who had gone to sit for the exam hoping to pass or hoping to be recruited will just sit in the house and wait for them. And that will be robbery. We've collected money from these young boys and girls, and they've gone through the process to be recruited, and all of a sudden somebody can just be given 300 slots. And of course, if an opposition leader is given 300 slots, the president will have the right to take the rest.
Bugri Nabu is the prime and first witness of this case being investigated by the Parliament Committee. Sitting resumes on Thursday. From Parliament House, Samuel Mbura, Joy News.
Some members of the governing New Patriotic Party will be facing possible sanctions for allegedly launching attacks on leading members of the NPP if they fail to adduce sufficient evidence to back their public utterance, which the NPP considers anti-party conduct. Over the last 48 hours, the party has been on tenterhooks following the outburst of at least 2 flag-bearer aspirants who are alleged some various infractions which could dent the integrity of the special delegate conference. Now, the election committee of the party says it has taken notice of such acts containing videos which have since gone viral on social media and will accordingly sanction any individual who goes on a warpath with the party.
We've set down rules of engagement, and we've also put in place a mechanism to ensure that grievances are heard and responses given. We therefore expect that all aspirants who have grievances will channel said grievances through the laid down rules. We as the elections committee have this mandate to look into all matters of concern. We therefore call on agents, assigns, and the principals themselves to respect such rules. We understand that elections can sometimes trigger emotions, but in all of these, prudence expects of us to act within the confines of the law. Any party member, any aspirant, any agent who make it his own bona fide of waging war against the party will be sanctioned. The rules upon which we mounted the whole process were agreed upon by all aspirants. So any infringement thereof should be reported to us.
Now, campaign manager of the Kennedy Agyapong 4 flag bearer race has denied allegations he relayed a false report to the aspirant, which compelled him to make such utterances deemed anti-party. At a press briefing in Accra, the polling station agent who was allegedly assaulted was also present.
I say that people have different ways in reacting to issues. There are other people, and you've even seen on social media, Honorable Alan Martin's person with the eyes and the rest. We have other people that came from the north and the northeast, but they are not ready to be on camera because of the fear of that intimidation. So for us, Honorable will address the media probably today or tomorrow, and then you can ask him the question that you want. But people have different way of reacting, especially when you have put so much time and investment to something like this, and you hear a call coming, this is happening to me, that your temper will just go up and you'll be able to react. I think that people react differently depending on how they see it. Because this was an election which he wasn't getting any call other than calls coming from northeast, which he believed that the people there should have behaved or known better. And so when that happens, reactions are differently expressed. More importantly, in the agreement that we came up with within the guidelines, media people were not supposed to be in the second lane. And going forward, and what happened, because events that happened, media people could not capture. We are going to insist that this time the media become part of the second level of a meeting, of an interview that was granted by Patriotic, in which the chairman of the Ashanti region of the new Patriotic party, my beloved party, was interviewed, and he made claims that it is Kwame Musu, the campaign manager, who actually misinformed Honorable Ken.
Now, the youth organizer of the new Patriotic Party in Ashanti region, Rafael Savo, has denied report of showing his ballot in casting his vote during the just ended Super Delegate Congress. The alleged action, which is in contradiction of electoral laws, resulted in misunderstandings at the election grounds, as many called for the nullification of the ballot. Rafael Savo has since been invited by the party hierarchy as they investigate mishaps of the election. Nana Yaujima has more in the following report.
The Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer is one of the 5 persons who have been invited by the NPP leadership for breach breach of electoral rules. On Saturday, Mr. Savo Patrick, sporting a white shirt in casting his ballot, raised his sheet in the air to the public. Officials of the EC moved in to stop him from putting it in the ballot box, citing breach of secrecy code of election. This led to a prolonged misunderstanding as Mr. Savo and some persons observed the ballot paper, which was folded, did not reveal the ballot cast. It was subsequently agreed the ballot is set aside. Rafael Savo Patrick, a day after the incident, released a statement supporting his stance. It reads,
"Respectfully ignore the fake reportage. Raf didn't show any open ballot vote as being reported. This is a folded ballot paper ready to be dropped into the ballot box. It was a long ballot paper containing 10 aspirants folded, ready to be dropped into the ballot box. This is the evidence of what actually happened as captured by the cameras of the media."
Mr. Savo has openly declared support and massively campaigned for Dr. Baumia. Joy News engagement with supporters of the NPP revealed they are divided over the action. Here is Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Oseiche Mensah Bonsu.
I wasn't here, so I'm not able to really comment on that. The fact that the person shows his ballot may amount to no breach, right?
But the EC said it's a breach too.
No, I'm saying if a person shows his ballot, what is the ballot? The ballot is the paper on which you thumbprint and vote, right? If I show my ballot, what's the breach? So merely showing a ballot may not amount to anything. But if you cast it and show it, it may not amount to a breach. Maybe if you cast it, depending on the rules, and show where you voted, that may be trying to influence others, right? That may be a breach. I'm saying that I don't want to comment on it because I'm not here. I don't know exactly how it happened.
Ashanti Regional NPP Chair Bernard Enchibo-Siako shared some interesting thoughts. You journalists know this is no news. Judas Iscariot was one of Jesus' disciples, but he sinned.
Where they are bonnet, what I say, where nipa, you see, the decision making, it takes, few seconds to make a decision to say obetima dream say yeah na say nye to no or dream say ya will be betima gina dia na so be or try ya the way it's not a crime.
To him, he only wanted to show allegiance. Meanwhile, others believe the move by Mr. Savo should not be encouraged. Efia Kranchewa wants appropriate disciplinary action meted to him.
Because the moment that he showed the ballot paper, it's against the rule. Fine, whether he showed who he voted for or not, the rule says don't raise it. Just vote, fold it, and put it in the ballot paper. But here is the case, a whole youth organizer who, you should set a good example to the youth, because the act that he did is very childish, and to me it's very shameful.
Results declared by the Electoral Commission show 118 votes cast out of the 119 eligible delegates. MP for Agyapong South, Emmanuel Anshe, was exempted for showing up late at the polling station. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Insensitive and ill-considered. That's how the National Democratic Congress Disability Desk describes the Electoral Commission's decision to register new voters at only district offices across the country. Now, the group says the EC failed to take into account consideration that persons with various forms of disability will have to travel long distances to access registration center. National Coordinator of the NDC's Disability Desk, Frederick Assor, says the party will explore all available avenues to ensure their concerns are addressed.
It seems in this country, when we are taking policies, decisions, we leave out some section of vulnerability of persons living with disability, the aged, And in this case, looking at Electoral Commission's decision to embark on this limited registration, persons with disability, we are going to lose this great opportunity looking at the centers where they want to do this registration. The Electoral Commission came out that they want to do this registration in their district offices, which is 261 districts. And persons with disability are across this country. If the Electoral Commission will go ahead to do the registration in their district offices, will disenfranchise persons living with disability, because it's hard coming out, getting money, traveling, etc. And as a visually impaired, if you go in, you have to go with a guide and somebody who will go and then guarantee you, because most of us are not having the Ghana card to go alone or with only just our guides to do this registration. So in this case, we are calling on the Electoral Commission to come down. If not all the polling stations, at least a constituency or a district can get more than 5.
Let me just inquire, have you officially petitioned the Electoral Commission on this?
Yes, we're putting up the document to send to the Electoral Commission, hopefully close of tomorrow.
Away from that story, teacher training education in Ghana is in limbo as frustrated students remain uncertain about the return of their instructors to the lecture halls. CTAG has been on indefinite strike since August 1 this year, pushing government to fulfill its commitment to implementing negotiated conditions of service. The prolonged strike interrupted academic activities, leaving teacher trainees in a state of uncertainty, pondering whether to remain on campus or not. Jefta Nana Kwame is the president of the Teacher Trainees Association.
As a matter of fact, it happened last year. Last year it happened, and then examination could not come off. So the academic calendar, which is supposed to have ended in December last year, ended in January this year. And we foresee such happening again. When it happens like that, there is no adjustment that will come to the students in terms of feeding for themselves or even providing them with logistics that will support or, say, compensate them. Meanwhile, they didn't cause the strike or they didn't opt to leave campus while teachers were on campus. In fact, we are continuing to plead with the government to do what it takes to bring back our teachers to the classroom or the lecture halls. Should the scene continue to be this, we can't also continue to be in the College of Education without doing anything. Then at a point in time, we may have to ask our people to leave and go back to their various homes, because while teachers are not on campus, we would understand that social vices are very high.
Meanwhile, principals of the colleges of education are hopeful that the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, will call off its strike in an upcoming meeting with the National Labour Commission, NLC, on Wednesday. But CTAG President Prince Obin Hema indicates that nothing will coerce them to end the strike. He has joined us via Zoom now, and then we want to find out from you. You said nothing will push you to back down. I want to find out from you, does that mean you are not ready to dialogue at all? Hello, Nana Kwame, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, so I'm asking, you said nothing is actually going to push you to back down. I want to find out from you whether this means that you don't want to have any dialogue with the authorities. Can you hear us? Prince Obin, if you can hear us. I'm asking you whether you are open to have any dialogue at all with the NLC over your concerns.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and good evening to all my tutors across Ghana who have shown that they can endure, they can survive without salary. I pray that the good Lord guides all of them wherever they are as we strive to right the wrongs. The fact is that we are anticipating that on Wednesday, we'll be able to meet the National Labour Commission. We have always shown that we are law-abiding people, and we are saying that the National Labour Commission will have to come very strong on government, because we still maintain that decision to freeze our salary is completely unacceptable, lawless, because the government, and for that matter, Ministry of Education, have no right whatsoever to pretend to be doing the work of the National Labour Commission. So we also expect that apart from even the arrears, the conditions of service, the order given by the National Labour Commission contained a lot of things, and we expect that they will be able to fulfill everything that is therein.
All right, so beyond this, your expectations, do you have any other specific concerns you would want the NLC to address?
Well, we are saying that the NLC gave clear order, and all the items that were supposed to have been complied were explicit in there, about 4 or 5 of them. You pay salary arrears and decide not to pay, salary, or you pay the arrears, conditions of service, and you decide not to pay. They say, what have you done? That is just one out of the 4 things out there. So we expect that by Wednesday, like what the NLC said 2 weeks ago or so, the government will come showing evidence of having compliance, which we doubt.
All right, so now I want to find out from you, is SITAG not concerned about the disrupted academic calendar so far? You've been on a sit-down strike or on this particular path since August 1. Are you not concerned about the way academic situation is going on campus?
We are, but we need, our welfare has to be taken care of before we can live and work. Remember, we're also a group of people who have got parents, who have got children, dependent, and they depend on a welfare. We cannot be concerned about the welfare of students when our own welfare is not being taken care of. So they go hand in hand. We are concerned, but we're equally concerned about our welfare as well.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on Joy News. We are grateful for your time. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now let's take you to the northern part of the country, where 3 people have sustained varying degrees of injuries following a riot at the Tamale Circuit Court. Our sources say there was a shooting incident at the court where a man alleged to be peddling medications illegally was standing trial. There are conflicting reports of what resulted in the firing of shots by the police. 13 people have so far been arrested in connection with the attack on the Tamale District Court 1. I have been joined on Zoom by my colleague, Martina Bugri, for more on this particular development. Martina, give us a brief background to what led to today's incident at the court.
Now, there's this, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's this incidence of drug use in the there's this incidence of drug use in the Tamale metropolis. It's gone through almost the entire region, as noted for drug use lately, and especially amongst the youth. It's become so alarming that it became a concern to the chiefs and people of the area, and so they formed task force in various communities to begin to do a citizen arrest of people they suspect or know peddle drugs or use drugs. And so some arrests were made, they were sent to court, and then some admitted to the offense and they were charged. But this particular person said he pleaded not guilty, and so he had to go through the full length of trial. Today they were in court, and the people had massed up because they were told, or there was rumor that the man would be free today. So they were in court to protest his being freed. Whilst they were in court, even before the case was called, there were some exchanges outside the court premises. A police officer who was in Mufti, we are told, was using his security watch filming. And they assumed that he was just an ordinary person and pounced on him, beat him up, and seized his weapon. We are told that earlier on 3 people had also been beaten for trying to film. So whilst we're beating the police officer, somebody recognized him and said he was the police officer. So they managed to rescue him. It was at this point the police tried to stop the rampaging youth. Now, this is one account that we have. The other account we are told is that a police officer has stepped out to try to stop them from making noise. The people got incensed and started talking back at him, and they were firing of guns. And so it depends on who you speak to. They all have different accounts of the same events that took place at the Tamale Circuit Court today.
All right, so let's get some clarity on the type of drug you mentioned. We want to be clear on that. What specific drugs are we looking at?
There are several drug use: cocaine, heroin, tramadol, but the most common one is the tramadol. And people use it. It's so overused in the area. There are places at night when you go, it's like a market where they deal in just drugs. And so it became an issue in the area that they had to do something. Authorities had to rise, stakeholders had to speak against it to get to the bottom of it so that they'll be able to either reduce or bring it to the barest minimum. And that's the reason why we are having this development.
All right, let's come back to the court. What's the level of damage caused to court property, for instance, today?
The pelter stones at the roof of the court and the windows of the court. So these are the places that they also burn ties in front of the court premises. That's basically what I saw. So if you look into the video, you see at the back of the crowd, the bailing smoke at the premises of the court.
Do we know the state of the judge and other judicial staff?
Yes, we are told that they are safe. None got hurt. We spoke to somebody at the court, and he says that they are all safe.
All right, so those arrested so far, do we know who they are and where they are actually being kept?
We are told they are with the police now. We are told that these are residents who were part of the rioters who were picked. And like we earlier on said, we have 3 people who are various hospitals. Even though the hospital authorities confirmed 3 people being injured, there's rumor that about 11 others also sustained injuries, making about 14 people. But the hospitals can confirm of just 3 people. One at the Tamale Teaching Hospital at the time we went, and 2 at the Tamale Regional Hospital. At the Regional Hospital, the male victim was in the theater being taken care of, whilst the female who was in the ward was being processed to be referred to the Tamale Teaching Hospital.
Thank you so much for coming through with those details. Martina Bugri is our colleague here at Joy News. Now, moving on from that story, the president has launched phase 2 of the Planting for Food and Jobs, a reviewed one after the implementation of that of phase 1, which started in 2017. Phase 1, according to the president, reached out to about 2.7 million farmers and others in the value chain. The second phase, a 5-year program, is to transform agriculture. There's more in the following report.
Speaking at the launch of the phase 2, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, said there was relatively stable food security environment in the country after the implementation of the phase 1.
Significant successes have been recorded after some 6 years of implementation of this first phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Notably, these include reaching over 2.7 million farmers and other value chain actors under the 5 modules, a relatively stable food security environment with food self-sufficiency in major food staples such as maize, cassava, and yam, increased agricultural sector growth rate from the 2.7% we inherited in 2016 to an average of 6.3% from 2017 to 2022. Government has thus been able to achieve the annual target of 6% of sector growth set under the Malabo Declaration, to which Ghana is a signatory.
Now, French ambassador to Niger has defied the country's orders to leave the country within 48 hours. The decision to stay in the country despite receiving orders to leave has received the backing of French President Emmanuel Macron, as he applauded the ambassador for staying put. In a speech to diplomats Monday, Emmanuel Macron said the ambassador will stay in the country despite pressures for him to leave. He reiterated France's support to Niger's ousted president, Mohamed Bazoum, whose decision not to resign he called courageous. Niger's president was toppled in July 2026 in a coup that has been condemned by France and ECOWAS. Listen to Emmanuel Macron now.
I believe our policy is the correct one. It's based on the courage of President Bazoum, on the efforts of our diplomats and our ambassador in Niger, who will stay despite pressure from coup leaders. We do not recognize them. We support the president, who's not resigned.
Now, Emmanuel Macron is also concerned about what appears to be diminishing Western influence. There's a growing anti-French sentiment in former French colonies, with some of them causing up in Russia.
I believe that the international context is becoming more complicated and that there is a risk of a weakening of the West, and more particularly of our Europe. Firstly, there's a dilution of our population and our produced wealth, of our share in world trade. This has become even more true since the crisis of 2008 to 2010, and as a result of the emergence of major international powers.
We'll take a short break. We'll return with showbiz. So this is the showbiz segment with Becky Bex.
Hello to you, my new boyfriend,
yes.
Carlos.
How did your weekend go, actually?
Oh, weekend was fantastic. I traveled to the Volta region. You've been to the Volta region before?
Sure, I've been to the Volta region many times.
And for those of you who don't know, he's Voltairean. And your name, Carlos Coloni. I love the Coloni. It sounds like Carlos Ancelotti. But that's not why we're here.
Yeah, sure.
We're here because of, the news and...
What happened over the weekend?
Yeah. We had Chalewate Street Arts Festival. Have you been following? Sure. Did you attend? No.
No,
you were working. But for those of you who didn't attend the Chalewate Street Arts Festival, it's the biggest street arts carnival that happened in Ghana, and if you missed it, Maxwell Agbagba has more.
It is close to midnight, and beneath the moonless African sky, thousands of festival goers are still gathered at iconic Black Star Square. The intoxicating rhythms of Amanziba Nadbru's high life music fill the air. King Ayisoba is on stage, adding a unique flavor to the musical concert.
If you can start it, people that love you go make them. People want to see you, brother. They can see you. The whole world.
There were more performances after him. And the festivities continue. Less than 100 meters away, Joy FM's DJ Black is on the turntables, treating patrons to some good music. Hosting alongside him is Lexus Bill. The two electrify the crowd. The patrons couldn't hold back their excitement.
Earlier in the day, the streets of Osu came alive as various artists had the opportunity to showcase their talents. The Black Star Square was a canvas of creativity, with vendors selling African artifacts witnessing booming sales. One of the artists expressed how the Chaliwati Festival is a platform that amplifies local talent.
The Chaliwati Festival has become the big magnet attracting people from all walks of life here to the Osu Castle Gardens and also to the Black Star Square. People from politics, media, medicine, and all that you can think of. It is a festival of arts, culture, and entertainment.
Maxwell Agbagba right there giving us all the details from the Chaliwati Street Arts Festival, which happened at the weekend.
Okay.
Carlos, let me take you all the way to London because Asaka boys, they made us all proud. You know, all our musicians, they're, out there making Ghana proud.
Yeah.
Some of them are on tour and all of that. Asaka boys, they sold out their very first concert. Stone Boy right there. Let's all join hands join in the congratulations that is pouring out for
really
Sally and the husband. So the news, which started as rumors earlier last week, has been officially confirmed by the couple, who announced their testimony on their respective social media platforms. Sally wrote, holding to fate, that's what brought me this far. It's been a long and almost hopeless journey, but I wasn't to decide that. What the Lord has done, my tongue is heavy with praise and worship. Our hearts are heavy with immense gratitude. It's just marvelous. That's what Sally wrote on her social media. She actually had twins. Hopefully, we will see the faces of the beautiful twins when we'll give you like exclusive pictures of
when the babies finally arrive.
Yeah, they have actually arrived.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be going there and I'll get you pictures because I need exclusive pictures for you. So I think that's how we will wrap the show up this evening. We don't have anything. We don't have to brush our teeth this evening with Pepsodent. But if you want, you can brush your teeth with Pepsodent and everything. So that'll be all for Joy News Prime. I'm grateful that Carlos here hosted me. Please join us same time tomorrow. We'll be back. Beverly Broom will be up next with Prime Business.
Hello, good evening. This is Business on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Broom. Government recorded a 5.63% oversubscription of Treasury bill sales, but at surging interest rates. According to the auction results by the Bank of Ghana, the government got 3.22 billion cedis. The following report has more.
Government accepted 3.2 billion cedis of the bids tendered by the investors, largely banks, representing about 99% of the subscription. However, interest rates continue to rise, raising concerns about the cost of repaying the debt instrument. This time around, a chunk of the bids came from the 91-day bill, in which 2.3 billion cedis were tendered. The government accepted all the bids. About 717.5 million cedis came from the 182-day bill, of which 701.6 million cedis were accepted. For the 364-day bills, the bids tendered were 146.2 million cedis. The government took 143.2 million cedis. Meanwhile, the yield on the 91-day bid increased by 0.31% to 27.02%. That of the 182-day bill also went up to 28.61% from the previous 27.88%. For the one-year bill, the interest rate was 31.24% from 31.08%.
Now, senior finance lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Seyram Kawo, has indicated that some fiscal policies implemented by government accounted for the worsening of Ghana's operational risk. The Economist Intelligence Unit ranked Ghana as a country with worsened operational risk between the end of 2022 and mid-2023. Speaking on the marketplace, Mr. Kawa said government needs to prioritize the needs of the country to address this issue and create a favorable environment for businesses.
When you look at that, we can look at both external factors and internal factors that affect the operations of companies in Ghana in particular. The external ones, as I have mentioned, we are looking at the Russia-Ukraine war. Aside that, we also have the banking sector cleanup. That has also affected. We also have situations where our government was not able to manage the exchange rate very well. Our government was not able, the domestic debt exchange that we also have over a period had affected a lot of companies, a lot of individuals in the country, and that went a long way to affect the Bank of Ghana when they have to increase the policy rates within the country. And so there are some factors that are external to us, but then largely we can look at we not being able to manage the exchange rate system that we have in our country. And then the borrowings of government, the fiscal policies of government was not very good. We have increases in taxation within the period, and these increases have actually affected most of the businesses that are operating. When you look at what we have done so far, we've been able to secure the IMF deal. Securing the IMF deal brings some level of stability. So we over the period we have seen inflation coming down and going up. We have seen the exchange rate stabilization. We've seen some agreements being entered between the government and IMF in terms of zero financing of IMF, the government programs that we have. What we need to do is that we need to prioritize the needs of the country. Once we are able to prioritize the needs of the country, we would be able to do well. But my fear is that once we are entering an election year and we have seen glimpses of the by-elections that have come in, politicians tend to ignore all the policies and then the benchmarks that they have set out for themselves. And that, I think, we need to go back and look at it and ensure that we follow what we have agreed with IMF and what we have agreed in the budget of the country.
Now, the Ghana Hotels Association has told Joy Business members of the group will tomorrow embark on a protest march to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission over recent increases in electricity and water tariffs. Ahead of the protest, the association is calling on the PURC to reverse the new rate of 167% between February and March to 8.3%. The PURC announced an increase in electricity and water tariffs by 4.22% and 1.18% respectively, effective September 1, 2023. Here's President of the association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr.
It's actually in relation to the PURC's tariffs for February, March, April, and May. We recall that the PURC announced an 8.3% increase in water tariff for that period. But as it turns out, when our bills came, we actually saw 167% increase. What it means is that the hotels have incurred a lot of debt within that period. We've been asking the PURC to correct that. We've sent petitions. We've even asked our GTA to the Ghana Tourism Authority to intervene, but nothing has really come out of it. And we have decided to mount this protest so that this anomaly can be corrected. I want them to reverse that 167% increase between February and March. We are not talking about the recent tariffs. We have not even come there at all. We want the issue between February and May to be resolved. Hoteliers are citizens, not spectators. We have found something wrong with PURC's tariff, and we have issues with other aspects of our industry work. we are drawing their attention. We are not going to threaten them with anything like hoteliers going on strike. We are business people. We are not interested in strike. We are drawing their attention to the issues confronting us as citizens. If they act on it, fine. If they don't act on it, the public is there to judge the situation.
To some other stories now, and Origin, a product of Guinness Ghana, is marking its 8th anniversary in the market by introducing Untamed, a platform dedicated to discovering talents in music and the arts. The champion of this competition stands to win an impressive prize of 80,000 Ghana cedi. There's more in this report.
Origin, product by Guinness, is celebrating its 8th anniversary since they came into the market, and as part of the celebration has launched Untamed, which seeks to unearth talent. Speaking with Ya Amwa Awoso, who is the marketing manager in charge of Spirit and RTD at Guinness Ghana, she explained that Untamed simply seeks to celebrate Ghanaian talent in music and art, which is going to take place in Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi and Tamale, with the winner taking away an amount of 80,000 Ghana cedis.
Origin has launched a campaign which is called Origin Untamed. Origin Untamed simply celebrates Ghanaians with talent in music and art who stay true to themselves. Ours is not like any regular reality show. We celebrate people who are really original in this field, who have stayed true to their craft, and that is what Origin Untamed is about. It is going to be a road show which is going to be in 4 cities: Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi and Tamale. And our mission is to just go on talent hunt people who have the talent in music and arts. We will never bring them to Accra for the grand finale, and the final winner would win 80,000 Ghana cedis. And this 80,000 Ghana cedis, we are saying we are fueling the person's talent with it.
She went on to give the criteria through which one can take part, which is to submit entries on their social media handles and tag them.
So the criteria is very simple. We are opening up for people to file for nomination. So all we are saying is that you can submit your entries on our social media platforms. Submit and then tag us. When you tag us, we have judges who are well vested in this industry. They would be in a certain room where they would look at, review all of the winners. This will be live recorded, so we'll share as well on our social media pages. The intention is for us to be able to give people an equal chance in all of this.
Estella Mozito, who is the Marketing and Innovation Director at Guinness Ghana, added that Origin has rebranded the look on its bottle, but with the same content as it used to, and added that 8 years is good enough to have a change in its look.
Yeah, so it's really not a rebranding actually. It is just Origin being true to what it is. This is a brand that's about being true to your roots. It's about being inspired by your roots. It's what our drink is, inspired by Ghanaian herbs and fruits. And so what we're doing is celebrating 8 years of being in Ghana and using that to celebrate originality in all its forms. Basically what we are doing with Origin, first of all, is we are not changing the liquid. So your Origin is going to remain the way it tastes great. The price is also going to remain as it is. The only thing that we are changing is the way it looks.
And that's all for business. You can read more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. I leave you with
Another welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao, and from Nima to the Olympic Stadium in London, Mohamed Kudus continues to write his story on the global stage. Now, the latest is the move to East London to play for West Ham, which has left excitement on the faces of the club supporters, especially some group of Ghanaians. Now, here is a report by Joy Sports' Loris Beidou, who caught up with the GH Hammers.
Mohamed Kudus over the weekend became the third Ghanaian after John Pinto and Andre Ayew to sign for Premier League side West Ham United after completing a 45 million euros move from Ajax Amsterdam. The transfer created a lot of buzz on social media, with Ghanaian fans full of excitement about his arrival in the Premier League. But away from the pitch, a group that is hoping to capitalize positively on the momentum of Kudus' signing is the Ghanaian Hammers, West Ham's official supporters group in Ghana. Formed in 2010, the group has embarked on a series of events aimed not just at promoting the club's fan base here in Ghana, but also and more importantly, helping the less privileged.
I think the main core mandate that we have is on our mission. Our mission is to what? Bring an impact or smile to the faces of the less privileged, and we have been doing that. Throughout the years, West Hams have donated a lot of staffs that we can't just mention, though cash and everything, but we've been able to bring people to understand that if you are less privileged, you can be helped. We supported education, we supported structure, and then we think this is not the last thing we'll be doing. We are open to anything. So if Kudus is saying that he's coming on board, we can't wait to meet him and then see the project that we'll take with him. The whole issue was to look at teams that produce academic impact. Then I've tried my best to look at West Ham, and then I've seen that the likes of Lampard, the likes of Joe Cole, the likes of Ferdinand, the Ferdinand family, the Antoine, and then Rio Ferdinand. All these people were nurtured from West Ham. So I said, okay, it's like this is a transition team. So I supported them from 2010. So way back 2013, I had fan base that was increasing. From there, then here comes John Benjamin, the former UK High Commissioner. I always give him the respect wherever he is. He came 2017, then he called me to let me know how much he loved my content. Through there, we have no less than 300 members now across Ghana. I can just say Upper West Region, Tamale, and then Accra as a whole. So we are loud, and then we think Kudus coming shouldn't just be an expectation only. It should be how to help grow the fan base.
Well, we are Bontain outside. Well, the world has been reacting to the move by the Guinean, and you just head to Twitter. You can see some very interesting comment there. This Flex Germain online, and he says that now a fan of West Ham. You guys just won about 50 million fans from the whole of Ghana and Ghanaians everywhere. Well, you're not up to 50 million, but we'll see. Well, this one is Global Observer X. It's a West Ham's ambition knows no bounds with Mohamed Kudus on board and a stellar 45 million euro deal. The team's lineup just got an exciting upgrade. Big kudos to the club and Tim Steiden for making this fantastic signing possible. That's still on Twitter over there. And you can see this is Rida Ben Yahia. And he says Kudus starred with Ayaz last season, scoring 11 goals and 3 assists, and also appeared with Ghana in the World Cup. Yesterday was the best farewell with Ayaz, where he scored a hat-trick. West Ham won a Ghanaian gem that will help him compete in the Premier League, especially since West Ham is glowing this year. And the final one is the more even interesting comment from Ibrahim Sani Dara, and he says Mohamed Kudus never forgets the sacrifices his mother and family made for him. Kudus got his mother and key family members to fly from Ghana to London for his unveiling by West Ham today. That was on Sunday. So you can see the mother and some family members in the shot at the London Stadium where West Ham United play their home games, and Mohamed Kudus will also be playing. Well, let's come to the local scene now, where MTN FA Cup champions Dreams Football Club qualified for the next round of the CAF Confederations Cup qualifiers after defeating Milo Football Club in the second leg of their tie at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, the Still Believe played out a 1-1 draw at the Lassana Contest Stadium in Guinea in the first leg, and the return leg was no easy task for Dreams. Karim Zito's side, they had to come from behind to see out the Guinean side after the Guinean side took an early lead into the first half there. But Dreams FC were able to equalize from the spot after the goalkeeper had been whistled for an infringement. And it was Ajani Boateng who scored that crucial penalty to give Dreams FC the equalizer in the second half. And in the 90th minute, new signing John Entry rose to the occasion and managed to give Dreams FC the all-important win to ensure that they won the tie 3-2 on aggregate. Well, Dreams FC will now face Calon FC of Sierra Leone in the next round, and the head coach Karim Zito spoke after the game, expressing confidence that his team will be able to make it to the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup.
I think before this game, I told you people that it won't be easy for me because the name alone may deceive you, Milo FC. So you might think you can just boil hot water and then finish them. Now you saw it yourself. I'm very happy for my boys. I'm very happy for the club. I'm very happy for myself because we work towards this victory and then we achieve it. Because I told you people that I went to Guinea with two objectives. That is either to win or to draw. And I had one of the two. So again here I said I need nothing but to qualify. I don't care about the goals. I just want to qualify. Though it was a hard way, but I'm very happy I've achieved my objectives. So far, so good.
Karim Zito there. Well, elsewhere, Ghana Premier League champions Midiama also booked a slot in the second round of the CAF Champions League preliminary round after they had to defeat a Nigerian club, Remo Stars, 3-2 on penalties, and that was the final kick by the Midiama player, which ensured that they advanced to the next stage of the competition after the game had ended 1-1. So Midiama will now face Guinean giant Horoya in the next stage of the competition. Well, to the World Athletics now, which ended yesterday, Sunday, and here is a wrap of all that happened on day 9 of the tonight's edition of Prime Sports. With me, Razak Musbao. Have a lovely evening.